Welcome back to this pick.
Welcome back to show you guys.
This will be a recap of the Chargers and the Ravens playoff game. Chargers win this one 23-17. Let me get some stats knocked out. Lamar Jackson's really struggled in the first three quarters. He had barely any yards, under like 60, I believe. But this last fourth quarter, he played really well. So his and total was almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. They had no running game. Lamar Jackson was their leading rusher, 54 yards, and Dixon, their running back, was their leading receiver with 53 yards.
Bad.
Phil Rivers played all right, I guess. That defense for the Ravens was really good, so I wasn't expecting him to light it up. But he had 160 yards, no touchdowns. Gordon had a good game, 40 yards, touchdown, and Williams had an all right game, 42 yards. So let's see here. That Chargers defense played really, really well. I thought they were going to play well against Lamar Jackson. I thought Chargers were going to win this game because I'm a big fan of Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league if he can stay healthy. But he's very limited right now as a throwing quarterback. He's not super accurate. He misses throws he shouldn't. And I figured that they're going to be able to devise a plan to make sure that he beats him with his arm, and unfortunately he couldn't do that. He did have a really good charge at the fourth quarter, and they're a couple plays away from winning this game. The turnover battle for the Ravens definitely cost them. They had 2-3 turnovers, and they fumbled a whole bunch of other times that they fortunately for them recovered. That line for the Ravens played really badly. That Hurst kid, left guard, he got his lunch eaten. Stanley didn't have a good game. The right guard's really good. He didn't really struggle. Lucien didn't have a good game. Our boy Orlando Brown didn't have a good game either. He was the guy who gave up the sack and a forced fumble to end the game pretty much. He played all right at other times, but at times he really was struggling. Granted, Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram were really, really hard matchups for him because they're both really fast and really small, and he's huge and not super athletic. So I figured that was going to be a weak link in this Ravens offensive line for this game, and that definitely was proven true. The Ravens defense played really, really well. I thought if they could get some more turnovers, they probably would have won this game, but Chargers, man, they definitely did their job to not turn the ball over and do everything they needed to do to win this game for them. They kicked a whole bunch of field goals and only got 1 touchdown. Good job of the Chargers kicker. If you ever follow the Chargers the last few years, they have had terrible kickers that has really cost them games of pretty much playoff berths. So they finally maybe found themselves a kicker, and he definitely played really well this game. Ryan's definitely going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it as well. These I don't want to call them idiots because some people I really respect had this opinion, but a lot of people are saying that put Joe Flacco in because Lamar Jackson is struggling so much. One, I think Joe Flacco is just not a good quarterback right now, so I don't think he would make that big of an impact. Two, guys, let's be honest. You really going to go to the Super Bowl with this kind of quarterback right now? Come on, man. I didn't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. And they're not going to the Super Bowl with Flacco. So why would you destroy your rookie's confidence just to put Flacco in and probably lose the game anyway? So I don't understand that. And Lamar Jackson played really well at the end of the stretch, so I think that would have been a stupid move. Put Flacco on, he throws more interceptions, and you still lose. So yeah, I thought the Ravens did a really good job of not putting Flacco in, sticking with Lamar, having all the confidence in the world that they can bring him back, and he almost did. A couple breaks didn't go their way, and they lost this game. But I think the Ravens have a really good future. They definitely need to get a better left guard, honestly. I think Orlando Brown's still really good. He's a rookie, so I wasn't expecting him to be all-pro this first season. He's still really raw. So, yeah, I think they can be really good on offensive line. They just need to get one more better player in my eyes and gel more. Lamar Jackson definitely needs to improve passing-wise. They definitely need to get a better weapon. King Crabtree is King Lobster. He cannot catch the ball consistently. Michael Crabtree's not a good receiver in my eyes. And really, that's all they have. Snead's not good, and that's it. And Mark Andrews is going to be a really good tight end, but tight end can be your number one target, honestly.
Yep.
You need to have a number one receiver, in my eyes. But yeah, it's going to be a really good team. They're smart to keep John Harbaugh, and I think they need to run it back, and I think they might have a really good season next year.
Yeah, absolutely. This was definitely a defensive game. 6 field goals by each team. Majority of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 was by the Chargers. Only 1 was by the Ravens. But yeah, most of this was field goals. Only 1 touchdown for, like he said, for the Chargers, and 2 really late for the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. And he hit Crabtree on those touchdowns, which is Crabtree is so inconsistent. Like, he could be good when he wants to. Like, he came up big in those moments. But majority of the time, he's just whack. He, like you say, drops passes. He can't really outrun anybody. He's an all right route runner. So, I mean, he did, like I said, he did a great job at the end of this game to, bring them back and try to get on this run to come back. But, man, it just wasn't happening. One big reason why that offensive line was getting eaten up by Bosa and Ingram and that defensive line. Offensive line, I don't get it. They didn't play that bad in the regular season, but gosh, man, they just got tore up by that defense. I mean, that defense is good, but to me, they're not that elite. And as far as pass rusher goes and all that, so they let them eat them alive.
Joey Bosa's elite, but he's still kind of getting his feet under him.
Right. But yeah, they stepped up. They munched on that offensive line. Lamar Jackson had trouble doing anything especially in that first half and
most of the third quarter.
Most of the third quarter, yeah. So they did their job. That line has to play better than that.
Yeah.
They made like I said, if a lot of teams, if you make them one dimensional, they're gonna struggle, and they made them one dimensional. They shut down what's pretty much been their bread and butter, which is a running game. Didn't let them do anything. So Lamar did have to win it through his arm, and he ain't got the weapons. Like you said, Crabtree, I think he's average at best. Snead, I think, is average at best. And John Brown, I don't even know if he played in this game. So, yeah, their best weapons are their tight ends, which is cool, but it ain't, you don't want your number ones to be a tight end. You really don't.
Yeah.
So they definitely got to get some weapons on that team next year. Because it showed. He doesn't really have anybody to throw to. Lamar Jackson does have to get better at throwing himself.
He didn't play very well this game.
Yeah, he has to get better at that. He's definitely not as bad as people think he is at throwing it, but he ain't there yet by any means. So he has to improve that next year. And yeah, they got to get some weapons for him. I do agree as well. I think they need a better running back. Dixon is a decent running back, but I don't think he's a 25 carry starting back. He's just not. So if they're going to be a running team like that next year with him, then yeah, they need a better running back as well. But man, can't complain about that defense, man. They played really well. Like I said, made the Chargers kick a ton of field goals outside of that one touchdown, and they ran it in for yards. And that's the thing, that defense made them fight for that touchdown. They were making them get. They weren't. What I'm saying is the Chargers weren't getting chunk plays, and it was a 4, 5, 6 play drive. It was more like a 8, 9, 10 play drive. So it wasn't like they just was giving them that touchdown. They fought for that touchdown. So Ravens defense pretty much overall in that game played really well. I think Adam's right. The biggest thing for me is they didn't get enough turnovers. I think if they would have won the turnover battle on top of playing that well, then I think they actually would have won this game and been ahead in this game. But yeah, the Chargers was getting down the field enough to kick some field goals, and really that's what won it. They kept scoring, and the Ravens weren't, and that's really what drove the knife in the ground for them, and kind of ruined the day for Baltimore. They ended up scoring too late, and they were on the game-winning drive. He was looking good, and then that line once again blew it for him. And I can't remember who came off the edge, but
it was a rookie from USC. I can't remember his name.
But yeah, he knocks it. He comes around the corner, just beats that line badly, and Lamar's about to throw it and got knocked out. So great effort for Ravens to fight back. It looked like they were just going to get skull dragged, and yeah, they almost had a game-winning drive. But yeah, great defense by the Chargers. They knocked the ball away and ruined the day for them. But real quick before I finish up, give them my what I got to say about the whole Flacco situation. Yeah, it's a good thing that they didn't put him in. I think that would have been a joke. For one, you're kind of ruining the young man's confidence, that you're kind of shoving in his face that, no, man, you're not the truth. You're not going to win this playoffs for us.
And sorry, and people. What?
We only got 10 minutes.
Oh, let's go to break right quick. Welcome back. Like I was saying, people are gonna say, well, he's not that guy if he doesn't have enough confidence to come back from getting benched one game. Well, this is his rookie year, people. This is a playoff game. It really matters. A lot of pressure. He has a lot of doubters, and if he got benched, he would even have even more doubters. Would have proved those doubters even more right. So yeah, confidence for a quarterback is super important, as well as ability and talent and all those other attributes as well, of course. But confidence is a big deal, and he definitely needs that. And I think that would have hurt his confidence a lot if they would have did that. So
not only that, but you got to give this man experience, and this is what he needs. This is
exactly.
Rookie year. That's great that you're getting this playoff experience. So. That's another reason. Playoff experience. Don't ruin. You could ruin his. I wouldn't say you could ruin his whole confidence, because yeah, you can come back next year, but still, you're still kind of throwing it in that young man's face that, nah, man, you just can't get the job done for us, and that's a shitty feeling. So that's one of the other things that really was, if they put him in there. He hasn't been playing football since week 11, so he's going to have a really dry, cold arm. Yeah. He's not that great of a quarterback to just come in there and go, yep, I can win this game. No, he's not. He's not that quarterback. So I'm glad Harbaugh did not put him in there. It just, to me, would have scrambled up this game and just made it really awkward in my eyes. Another thing is momentum and things that are working. It's been working. They've had a chemistry. They're building chemistry with Lamar Jackson. They got a formula, and
they would have to switch their offense back to what it was.
I was about to say, they got a formula. Then they got to switch everything around. So yeah, it's just been too much, and I'm glad Harbaugh didn't hear all these other guys and hear all that noise and just said, no, I'm not doing that. And yeah, like I said, Lamar Jackson was actually on a drive to come back and win. So. Yeah, it was a great decision to not put Flacco in and keep Lamar Jackson in and keep going and let him fight through these struggles. That's another thing too, is you're showing this young man that, you know what, we're down, but you know what, the game ain't over and we can fight back, and that's what they did. And
we believe in you.
Yeah, and that showed at the end of the day that the team could believe in him as well, because he almost did it. So yeah, great season by the Ravens. That's another team that we definitely did not expect to be in the playoffs by any means. And Lamar Jackson became the leading rusher, and only starting week 11, which is nuts. No telling how many rushing yards he would have had if he started from week 1. So great year for Baltimore. They got the pieces on defense covered. Offense, they need probably a couple more pieces on the offensive line. They definitely need some weapons for Lamar Jackson to throw to, and I think they need a better running back as well. But if they can get those things figured out and keep that defense and add a couple more pieces possibly on the defense, then they're going to be either right back in the same situation or even better. So great season for Baltimore. Chargers keep on charging away. They're going to go see the Patriots. And we'll see what the old geezers can do, old Tom and old Philip. So that's going to be an interesting game. But yeah, that'll do it for me.
That's all I got to say about the game as well.
All right, please comment, like, subscribe. Of course, let me hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. We'll see you on the next one.